for our players, this was a bigger rivalry than any other game that we played.
Any game?
What? I'm talking about rivalry game, even bigger than Auburn to our players.
Really?
It's always difficult for me to get our players up for the Auburn game. It was never difficult for the Tennessee game.
Wow.
That says a lot.
Yeah.
Welcome in, y'all. And I think that Coach Saban, formerly Coach Saban, I think that he said it all, man. This is a different type of a rivalry. Third Saturday in October. Tennessee fans, I hope that we're confident. I know that most of us probably aren't. I'm confident. We're going to go around the panel and see what everyone else's confidence level is. And if you are an Alabama fan, it just kind of feels like, y'all, honestly speaking, like throughout this whole season, every single weekend, last week versus Florida, all the big like rivalry matchups, it ain't been that much chirping. College football has switched up, but this is a big one. We expect to get Alabama's best, and they're damn sure going to be getting our best. And South Neyland Stadium, I expect for that to be rocking. But I'm going to go around this panel and just get some of the thoughts. And I'm going to start off with you, Tim. What do you think about this one?
Big game, man. It's a big game for both programs, right? I mean, kind of feels like a do or die for the playoffs pretty early on due to both teams taking unforeseen losses. I guarantee you Alabama wasn't planning to lose to Vandy and Tennessee wasn't planning to lose to Arkansas. So, this is going to determine the playoff matchup most likely. So,
yeah, for sure. And then P, I'm gonna come to you, but first, y'all, please make sure as you come in to like and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Let me just say this too, real quick. I know that P and I, we put in like a full work week. Really, I know I'm putting in over 40 hours to get this stuff out. We're giving y'all stuff that no one else is giving to you, right? You're getting the all 22. You're getting access to the type of stuff that the coaches and the players get. So just do us a favor, okay? Take that quick little split second and like this video. That helps us out tremendously. But P, how do you feel about this game, man?
Yeah, I feel great about it, man. I think Tim G said it. This is a big time game, playoff implications involved. Two teams, that hate each other, like we heard Saban talking about, and this rivalry. This means the world to a lot of Tennessee fans. I know you and I growing up, for us it was always Georgia, but a lot of Tennessee fans don't even consider that really a true rivalry. But this is the game. This game in Florida, I think you ask most Tennessee fans, it's one of these two games that means the most to them. So expect them to be rocking, expect to be a raucous environment. I saw an interesting stat. We all know, I think Bama's won 17 of the last 18 in this rivalry. But when both teams are in the AP top 15, Tennessee's won 5 of the last 6. So, this is one, I think, I feel very confident despite the offensive issues and things like that. I feel like that light bulb moment's coming. I think we'll get that going. For me, this is going to be more about the defense. How do we stop those explosive guys on the offensive side of the ball? Because I think they're better offensively than any team we faced all year. They can beat you a lot of different ways. They have a lot of options that they can get, and I think they're getting some receivers back as well. So it's going to be a tough matchup for our defense, especially without Keenan Peely. So for me, the offense, I think we'll be fine there. To me, it's going to be more about how's our defense perform against Milroe and those guys.
Yep. So Bray, how you feeling about it, brother?
I think it's gonna be obviously it's a big time game. Two top 10 teams. So I think Neyland's gonna be rocking per usual, and I think it's gonna be a shootout. I think it's gonna be a crazy game. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent thoughts. Excellent thoughts. All right. So I know that we did kind of get off to a late start. Typically, we start at about 11. But since we did start off late, we might go on ahead and jump real quick into our 12 o'clock picks. All right, because this one's probably going to be running past 12. So we will pull this up for y'all right here. First and foremost, it is a tie right now between me and Timmy G at 22 and 12, and P is sitting at 16 and 10. So we're just going to go through this real quickly. First and foremost, at noon, we're going to have Louisville versus Miami. Miami is favored by 5 points. The game's going to be in Louisville. The over-under is 60.5. Who do y'all have on this one? Who would like to go first? Bray, would you like to go first on this?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
I think Miami's gonna come out. They kind of had a bad performance their past 2 games. I think they're gonna come out and play, really good today. I like Miami in this one.
Okay, P.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I haven't watched a ton of Louisville, but I know Miami's got that quarterback right there, Cam Ward, probably gonna win the Heisman this year. Arguably the best quarterback in the country right now. It's gonna be tough for them to stop him. I got Miami winning this one, and I think they'll cover the spread as well.
Okay, Timmy G.
Well, I'm not breaking anything here. So Miami, I'm taking Miami to win.
I am too. I think that Louisville is good. The game probably will be close. I don't know about the 5 points, but I do believe that Miami is for real. Everyone's just waiting on them to fall off. I don't know if that's coming anytime soon. The next one's going to be Indiana versus Nebraska. This is a big one. Indiana is favored by 6.5 points. The game is going to be in Indiana, and the over-under is 49.5. Bray, what do you think about this?
Indiana's gone off to a quick start this year. They're 6-0. That new coach came in, kind of turned that program around, but I can never go against Dylan, so I like Nebraska.
Okay, love it. P.
Yeah. Haven't watched a ton of them on either one of these teams. Seen a little bit of Nebraska. I think they're a decent team. You know, true freshman quarterback going on the road. You know, we'll see how that goes. But I'm gonna go with Indiana on this one. I think they're off to a good start. I think they'll keep it going this week. I got Indiana. I don't think they cover the spread though.
All right, Timmy G.
Give me Big Red. When I say Big Red, I mean Nebraska. I don't know, man. I just got a feeling that they're gonna ball out today, and I'm not sure that Indiana's quite faced as tough a competition as them this year. We'll see.
Yeah, I think this is going to be very, very low scoring. I really can't call this. I can understand why you would pick Indiana because they got things kind of turned around. The offense is, is doing way more than what it used to. But I'm going to have to roll with my dog Dylan in this game. Now let's get on to the next one right here. Also at 12 o'clock, we've got Clemson versus Virginia. And this game is going to be at Clemson. They're favored by 21 points. The over-under is 57.5. Bray, what you got on this one?
Yeah, Clemson, ever since that week 1 loss to Georgia, they came out, they look like a totally different team. Clemson's playing really good right now. I don't think that breaks to give me Clemson big.
All right, P.
Yeah. Haven't seen any in Virginia at all this year. I know Clemson started off slow against Wake last week. And I want to say this game might have been close last year. I may be wrong on that. But I got Clemson win this one, but I don't think they cover. I think it's going to be less than 21 points. Clemson wins though.
Okay. Tim.
I'll take Clemson. For whatever reason, when I saw this spread, I was kind of like P. I was probably like Clemson, but not by 21.
Yeah, I think that I'm in the same boat. I would probably roll with Clemson. I mean, I'm hoping that they fall off, but they don't really have any competition on their schedule at this point. So all the noon picks. Okay, we got that out the way. Great job, gentlemen. Beautiful work. Beautiful work. All right, let's take a look right here at the chat because we are about to get back into this Tennessee-Bama matchup. Of course, D. Taylor, what's going on, D? A friend of the channel says, go Big Orange. I think that we echo that sentiment. And Gilead, Tennessee says McCoy and Gibson need to lock down Bama's wide receivers. Absolutely. We're going to be taking a look at that right now or in just a minute. And then Richard Patton is saying, Rocky Top, you'll always be home, sweet home to me. I love that. Go Big Orange. Yeah, I would expect that. I mean, listen, I know we've talked about it several times, but Neyland is going to be rocking. So I want to go around this panel, and I want to just get kind of everyone's thoughts on, what Tennessee needs to do to win this game. Or if you want to talk about what Bama needs to do to win it, that's fine. Or you can do both. And I'm going to start off with you right here, Pete.
Man, Tennessee, I think it comes down to basic fundamental football, which is stop the run. Or we're talking about defensively. We got to stop these guys from running the ball. We can't let them get 4 or 5 yards of pop. They haven't really done that this year. Most of their run plays are going to be designed QB runs. Well, I shouldn't say most, but it's a lot of designed QB runs. So I think first of all we got to stop the running backs from running it, but then secondly we got to contain Milroe and don't let him get going on those design things. And then I think after that we've got to prevent the big plays down the field. Like that poster just said, I forget who it was, but Ricky Gibson, Jamar McCoy got a big day, but even the safeties as well, Turntine, Will Brooks, Jacoby Thomas, Christian Charles, those guys, because I think this will be the first team that really challenges our safeties vertically down the field. So, what type of coverages are we going to be running today? Is it going to be some cover 2 type stuff? What is it? I don't know, because they do like to hit the seam routes as well. So it's going to be a big challenge for our defense, man. But I think it starts with stopping the run. And then, like I said, pass defense. But how do you help your pass coverage? You got to have a great pass rush. So I think, James Pierce, those interior guys, all those guys, they've got to get to the passer and contain him, force him out of the pocket, speed up his clock. And like we've been talking about all week, he will make mistakes if you can speed him up that way. And then I think offensively, we got to be running the ball. I mean, it starts there as well. Run the freaking football, get your 4 or 5 yards of pop. And something Brent Hubb said on he was on some radio show, and you know what? I've been thinking it, but I never really like really thought it. But when you watch film, I mean, like watch the Arkansas game, we had a lot of those 10-yard comebacks, whatever. Those routes were kind of open all game long. We just kind of stopped throwing them. Like he said, man, if something's working, keep doing it. We'll do it all the way down the field. We don't have to switch it up and get cute, go for the deep shot. So just take what's there, take what they give you. You don't have to always go for the big play. But yeah, to me, that's it, man. Stop the run the ball, and then also Nico, take care of the football. Can't have those fumbles and all that stuff. But I think we do those basic fundamental things, we'll win this game.
Love it. Timmy G, what you think?
I think Pete kind of said it all right there, really. But for me, it's when you're talking fundamental football, I hope you're talking about offensive line blocking. Like, does the offensive line show up today? Can we get some? Can they make some blocks? Can they keep the pocket clean? Can we run the ball? I think all that's going to hinge off the offensive line today. I think it's that. And for me, linebackers, right? Man, losing Peely sucks. Let me just say that. That dude, such a good dude, man. I hate it for him. Wish him the best. But he was a key piece in this defense. Some younger guys are going to have to step up and make some plays. And defense just needs to bring it. Like P said, hurry up that guy's clock. Like if I was Tim Banks, my motto would be blitz, blitz, and more blitz. Yeah, but we'll see what happens, right? I mean, huge game. I think Neyland is definitely going to play a factor in it. Some of these guys have never played in Neyland. Their side and ours, obviously, way more important for their side because they've not seen something like this, and it's going to be absolutely wild. I would not be surprised if Tennessee breaks the decibel record today.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully so. So we actually said it last time that we played Alabama at 137. That's kind of something I was thinking, man. Can we get to like 145? I think that the decibel record in the NFL is held by the Kansas City Chiefs at 147. What if we hit 150? And honestly speaking, we could do it just because a lot of folks aren't, making that noise. But if we come in and if we try to break it, I think that we can break it. And that would be a beautiful thing.
Real quick, too, about that. Do you guys know, is it illegal for the fans to bring in like their own little boom box with a microphone and like do your same noise, but just do it into the boom box?
Yeah. I don't think you're getting through the gate with that. Yeah, I don't think you're getting through the gate with that.
But hey, look, I absolutely love that thought. I mean, you got to try to do everything that you possibly can to affect the opposing team as a fan. Okay, we all signed up for it. All right, so Bray, what do you think? Do you want to talk about Tennessee or Bama or both?
I kind of talk about Tennessee. I think Tennessee, they got to limit the explosive plays today. Maybe from Milroe and Ryan Williams and people like that. And then offensively, Nico just has to stay calm and hit those shots when they're there. But when they're not there, just be a playmaker. That he is. So I think that's really the big thing is Tennessee got to limit Alabama's explosive plays, and they got to be able to generate more explosive plays with their offense.
Yeah, so I think that was beautifully said. And as you're talking about explosive plays, because I think that really the biggest thing that gives me confidence is going to be that Tennessee has a good defense, and good defense is good defense is good defense. Yeah, Kenan Pilley's gone. We will probably take a step back in some areas, but I think AC's ready to step up. I think that Jeremiah Teenlander's ready to also step up, and then we just need some other players. But whenever you got a really strong pass rush and you've got a good secondary that everybody keeps on sleeping on, the secondary, that's what the issue is, and that front's helping them out. It's like people just need talking points, man. Our secondary has been very, very solid, and they work hand in hand with that front. But whenever you look at Alabama's team, what they like to do is run the football with Jalen Milroe and hit those deep passes. Outside of that, it's very, very stagnant with their offense. And let me break down to you how that has looked over the past couple of games. So going back to the Vanderbilt game, Milroe had he was 18 for 24 for 310 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So I think that's a pretty good day passing. But running the football, he only had 7 carries for 10 yards, and he still did get 1 touchdown. Now let's talk about Ryan Williams, who is their main deep threat. That's pretty much all he does. I'm going to talk about that some more here in just a minute. But Ryan Williams versus Vanderbilt, he had 3 catches for 82 yards and 1 touchdown. Of course, Vanderbilt goes on to win. The reason that they did win is because they were able to run the football. I think the Tennessee can run on Alabama's defense. Now let's also talk about the running backs versus Vanderbilt. They had 11 carries for 68 yards and 1 touchdown. for those of y'all wondering, is that normal for the quarterback to, be getting that like almost as many carries by himself than two other running backs? No, that's not normal. That's a problem. And I don't know what's going to happen today. I'm sure Alabama's going to try to offset that some, but if they do, I think that plays more into Tennessee's hands, because I'd rather see them running the football than their quarterback, because I think he's just more explosive. Now, let's go on to Alabama versus South Carolina. Okay, Milroe went 16 for 23 for 209 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He also had 18 carries on the ground in this game for 36 yards and 2 touchdowns. He averages about 4 touchdowns per game. But you're seeing right here with all those carries, only getting 36 yards, that's like 2 yards per carry. So teams are starting to kind of figure out how to shut down his legs, and the entire offense is, I wouldn't necessarily say failing, but they're taking a step back just based off of that. Now let's talk about Ryan Williams versus South Carolina. 4 catches for 32 yards, no touchdowns. And then Alabama's other running backs versus South Carolina, they had 20 carries, which is more, for only 86 yards and 1 touchdown. So the thing about it, okay, my whole point in bringing up all those stats is that you need to be able to shut down or at least slow down Milroe's legs. Okay, if he throws the ball down the field, that's fine, but we're not going to let Ryan Williams beat us, and we're not too concerned about those other running backs. So it's really like a feast or famine offense. So while most people are kind of concerned about it, I think that Coach Tim Banks and this entire defense as a whole can shut down 2 phases of this game: deep passes and Milroe's legs. But what are y'all's thoughts just in kind of talking about that? Do y'all feel like this defense will be up to the challenge of being able to slow down Milroe? I'm gonna start off with you, Pete.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I sure hope so. I mean, by gosh, we're without Keenan Peely is such a huge blow. People don't realize. I think people are starting to get it, but he was such a freaking key cog. I mean, big, strong, athletic, smart, experienced, physical. I mean, the whole package. And Aaron Carter, he's starting to get there. But then after that, I think T-Lander. I mean, you were showing the speeds the other day. What do you have? It was something
17. It was 17.4.
I would like to have seen what Keenan Peely's was, because I know he's got to be hitting about close to 20, something like that. But
yeah,
the speed drop off after Carter is a little bit of a concern. I think the safeties have to get involved in helping stop the run, as well as those Leos and those DNs. Man, they're going to have to contain them and just don't let them get going. I mean, I was watching film on this game last season. They didn't really try to run Milroe as much, but we did a good job of staying at home. We were very disciplined. And we just played, like I said, good sound fundamental football. Didn't let him really get any big plays. But I think we can do it. I mean, I think we have a good scheme dialed up. It kind of helps knowing that Peely's already out. So now we know we have to scheme around that. So I think we have a good plan in place. And guys have got to be able to tackle in space, man. And I think he'll be flustered today. I think the noise will get to him. I think we may hop out on him early. I could see him getting flustered and them showing the close up on his face, and his eyes are big and he's worried. I can see that happening. We just got to get him rattled early.
Yeah, I love it. So Tim, what do you think about that? Do you think that Tennessee's defense can step up to the challenge of being able to contain Milroe and to stop those deeper passes, especially with Ryan Williams?
Boy, I hope so. I mean, because if not, I mean, look, here's the thing. I think both of these teams are insanely explosive when they're hitting on all cylinders. We've seen Alabama hit on all cylinders in the first part of that Georgia game. Then we saw them come out, look like they were asleep in the second half of the Georgia game, right? So I think both these offenses have insane potential. But here's the thing. Tennessee is the best defense Alabama has faced this season. Period. They're better than Georgia. I mean, the stats say that, at least. Like they're number 2 in the country. Number 1 is Texas, if I'm not mistaken. Number 2 is Tennessee. They've got some guys they're going to be hyped. If you don't think James Pierce is not looking at this game and thinking contract game, like, bro, come on. Tyree West, all those guys, like, it's going to be an interesting game. Alabama looks to have a pretty dang solid offensive line, but they're going against a really strong defensive line. It's going to be an absolute battle. But I tell you what, when you face a really twitchy defensive line, your guys tend to get a little jumpy up front. Those big fellas, they get a little jumpy. And not only that, when you've got crowd noise going on and then that happens, listen, last time we played Alabama, I think they had 17 penalties. And I think 8 of those were false starts in the first half of the game. Neyland can take that effect on a team. If that happens and they get them where they're behind the chains, they're in trouble. Same to be said for Tennessee, though, man. Just play smart, play clean, get out there, pin your ears back, and go after it. So,
yep. Bray, what you think, man?
I think Tennessee definitely can. Just because I feel like they've showed it. But you do have to limit their big plays, because if they get going, as we see in the first half, they're super hard to stop with Bill running the ball, Ryan Williams, and Jeremy Menard, the other receiver. But I think kind of an interesting point is Jalen Burrow has never played in an environment like he's going to see today. So I feel like that's gonna be a big test to see how he can handle it. And then Ryan Williams, I mean, everyone makes these 17 years old. That's gonna come into effect today.
Yep.
So that's really all I gotta say.
Yeah, those are great points by everybody. But Bray, what you just said about Ryan Williams being 17, people keep on talking about it, but what folks don't understand is that because he's only 17 playing up against grown men, that's hurting him from a physical perspective. What I have noticed is I was looking at some jet sweep plays, right? I think that Alabama's run, it might have been 13 or 14 jet sweep plays. Of those 13 or 14 jet sweep plays where the wide receivers are going to be the ones that are blocking, Ryan Williams was only in for 2 of them. He got the football on one, and then on the other one, I want to say that the ball went to the other side. Why is that? Why is that happening? It's because the staff understands that he can't hang physically with these grown men. We've heard about Ricky Gibson being a dog at the line of scrimmage. Hey, look, if you ain't physical with them, I think Brazel said it. If you are not physical enough with Ricky Gibson, he'll push you out of bounds. We've seen that. We know that Jamal McCoy will do the same thing. Everybody in our secondary, I think we're going to be too physical for Ryan Williams. Now, do we come up and press him a bunch, or are we going to be playing off of him? I would say that the best way to take away what he likes to do is have one guy pressing him at the line of scrimmage, throw him off, and then have somebody playing over the top. You can't just sit back and let him use his speed, because, I mean, speed is different than getting in there and, getting into the muck with some grown dudes, physical strength. So I think that Tennessee is going to try to impose our will on Ryan Williams physically. And I do think that the crowd noise and the crowd environment as a whole is going to play a major factor in this game. Milroe talked about it several times. He said, yeah, I feel pretty confident. And, he's kept on talking about crowd. The crowd is going to help Tennessee win in a very, very major way. So I have a whole bunch of confidence in this defense. I'm not going to say that we're going to stop what Alabama likes to do, because they've got too many playmakers and they've got too good of a scheme to stop it all. But we'll slow it down enough that as we're flipping the page to our offense, if our offense can get going, then all of a sudden, I mean, if it really picks up, especially passing-wise, I think that this game could maybe be a lot further apart in Tennessee's favor than most people think. But I do feel like we can run the football pretty much down Alabama's throat. They haven't stopped the run well all season. But, P, talk to me some about what Tennessee needs to do on offense, or just at least maybe what you are expecting from Tennessee's offense, because you already kind of talked about what we need to do.
Yeah. I mean, this comes out to run the ball. I think if you look at the Alabama-Vanderbilt game, and I think South Florida as well, South Carolina as well, like the teams that have kind of given them trouble, a lot of these teams have held on to the football. They've had long, sustained drives, 10, 15-play drives. I mean, the Bama-Vandy game, I think it was a 2-to-1 time possession difference. Vanderbilt had the ball for 40 minutes. Bama had it for less than 20. I mean, that's how you beat a team that's way better than you. Now, Bama's not way better than us, so we don't have to try to necessarily play keep away from these guys, but I do think running the ball, sustaining drives, limiting our 3 and outs. I think if you look up kind of at the box score at the end of the game, I think that kind of third down conversion needs to be, maybe 10 third downs, and we convert on like 7 or 8 of them. Like we need to hold on to the ball, sustain these drives. We can't keep giving Milroe and Milroe and company time and time again to have a chance. So I think, man, just run the football. Nico, stay calm, cool, collected, hit the throws that are there. I saw him make some strides from the Arkansas game to last week. Heck, he was looking one way and looked the other way, which something that we talked about he didn't do. He was staring it down. Still stared it down a little bit. We saw the bad pick you through. But, Nico, hey, don't stare it down. Just like Bray said earlier, if it's not there, get out of there. Scramble, run, make a play. You're a playmaker. I feel like right now the game's moving so fast for him that whenever he tucks, he kind of tucks the ball, his eyes are down. Like he's looking for, where am I going to run? Sometimes, hey, maybe look up the freaking field. and make a play, because that's one of the things we touted about this guy is he has that Johnny Manziel to him. I would love to see him make a scramble play, hit a guy down the field for a touch. Like, I would love to see him do that. So just be yourself. And like Tim G said also, man, O-line protect. Just play, again, good sound fundamental football. You know what I mean? So to me, it all starts with running the football and staying ahead of the chains today. Okay. Timmy G.
Run the ball, and run the ball some more. You got Dylan Sampson, one of the best backs in all of college football. He will break the all-time touchdown single season record this season, without a doubt. He's at 15. I think the record is at 18. Hell, he could have 3 today if things go well. So, run the ball some more. P already touched on this, but Nico needs to run the ball. Designed runs. I'd like to see some design runs and him use his legs and get him into it. Get those linebackers where they're hesitating a little bit. And also, I don't want to see any more 3rd and 7 run the ball up the middle shit. Like, man, nothing. Listen, I try to keep it clean, but that just makes me mad, bro. Like, I can't. That just stop. Not only that, man, hopefully, we see some wrinkles in the offense, like mix some things up, play calling, do some things different. Go out there and play like your life depends on it, man. Just open it up and don't hold back. And, I'm not saying run Nico and get him hurt, but you've got to take the training wheels off and you've got to go for it.
Hey, and to your point, Timmy G, about some wrinkles, the last 2 games, I think we started with that little rollout play. Or roll them out, hit the out route. I expect to see something off of that. I won't be surprised if we take a shot.
Yeah.
Great call. All right, so Bray, what do you think, man?
Man, I just think Tennessee on offense, I feel like they got to run the ball, because when you look at when Vandy played Alabama, they ran the ball and had great success. They also, had great success with their quarterback just balling out, making plays. I think Nico's more talented than Vandy's quarterback, and they have better weapons and stuff. So I feel like if Nico just comes out, like P said, and just takes what's there, but when it's not there, just play football, like backyard football. And I feel like if they do that, I feel like it's gonna be a tough game for Alabama, because their defense hasn't really responded when they play quarterbacks like that in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. No, so look, excellent points, man. I'm so proud of my little nephew, man. He up here talking daggone ball.
He knows ball,
and he understands what he's talking about too. All right, so I concur with all of that, man. Like, for sure, we can run the football on them, so I would expect that we do that. Will maybe Bama come out with a different look? Because I have seen them go from a 3-man front to a 4-man front, and obviously they can stop the run better with that front. They've got guys. There's no question about it. They've got the players that can stop this, but they just play a little bit too laid back. And I've even complimented them on the way that they kind of shrug off blocks. It's beautiful. Like, they don't move out of the way or nothing. It's like they just take I don't even know exactly how they're doing. It's just like a little shoulder shrug. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to get to the second level and block these guys sometimes, but they don't play downhill enough. So I think that Tennessee can run the football all day long. And I want to see more guys getting involved. Why are we just going with 2 backs? We've got more. Put them out there. Like, we've got other guys that can go for a run, right? Huh?
Selden will be back and available today.
Yeah, so Selden is going to be able to play today. Use his legs, man. Let him run the ball too. And because that's going to help us out moving forward. Now, I get it. You want to ride that hot hand, but you still got to be more intentional with getting some of these other guys in. So that's kind of like one of my knocks. But I think that Tennessee will be able to run the football. Also, we talked about it all week that, this Alabama defense loves to play man-to-man coverage, and versus South Florida, who plays a very similar style of, as what Tennessee does with Alex Golish, spread the whole field out. You can identify every little thing that Alabama's defense is going to do. That'll help Nico out with his pre-snap reads, with his post-snap reads. And I think that he operates better with man-to-man coverage than he does versus zone. We will still see some zone, but mostly it will be man. So I think that this is a game that Nico can pick things up. And if we can kind of, use the run first to open up that pass more, then, I'm telling you, this offense could put up a lot of points, because Alabama's defense is, I would say, it might be like the 3rd best that Tennessee's seen all season. It might even be 4th best. It's at a point that Tennessee should be able to find success there. So I feel great about all those things. Let's see if we have any more chats to kind of get to. And do y'all have any kind of like final thoughts, I guess, with this matchup, with this game? Anything that you want to say before we get into the picks for later on today?
Yeah. I think, man, Tim G, I forgot about Cam Selton. I want to see Cam Selton today, man. I want to see him get a chance. We'd love to see Mike Matthews get a chance. Like you said, too, Bull, like, get some other guys involved, man. Let's not just stick to the same old two guys. Let's go out here and play freaking football, give everybody a chance to play because we got a lot of guys, man. Get the tight ends going, Ethan Davis. I mean, let's just spread the ball and use our guys.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, I think that's 100% accurate. I mean, it's something that we really need to do. And honestly speaking, too, I know that I talked about this maybe last week, but I would much rather see Dante Thornton, Squirrel Brew, and then bring in Chris Brazzell, who you can throw jump balls to all day long. Let's start doing some of that. And then also, I want to see Mike Matthews, P. I know that you just said it, but I think I would rather see him before I see Nimrod, because Nimrod didn't play that well last game. But I think that Mike Matthews is a guy that will rise to this level of competition in this game. Okay, on the biggest stages, we know that he's shown and proven that he's going to step up. We need those types of guys out there, right? Like we can't be playing favoritism or playing the older guys. Oh, he's a really nice guy. Listen, that's great, but that doesn't matter right now in this game. Him being a nice guy ain't going to help us win. So play the best players. I don't care what class it is or none of that type of stuff. Something else too that I did want to kind of touch on that I heard pretty much everyone talking about, but some of that backyard ball stuff with Nico calming down. Whenever you know that you will know that a quarterback is playing with a high level of confidence whenever you see some of those crazy touch passes or some of those like weird arm angles, like some underneath passes, stuff like that. I want to see a little bit more of that from Nico, because everything that he's doing is just like throw it. You know what I'm saying? He's throwing it as hard as he can. You know what I'm saying? Like he's got to calm down, have some touch, and ball, right? Like I want to see him get back to being a baller, and I hope that will happen. And I'll just say this too, I'm not trying to bash on the fans, but we got to take it down. I mean, there's no need. He's not going to play perfect. No one's going to play perfect. Bashing these guys is not going to help anything. It's only going to hurt us. And I know that that's a very small percentage of our fans, but I think that maybe we should start trying to, call those people out, because I kind of get the feeling that maybe Nico, and this is not great on his part, but it does kind of feel like maybe the outside noise or something is getting to him, because it's just been like night and day. It's like the light was on, then it turned off, and I think that it's starting to dim upwards just a taste, but we need for it to turn on at least, I'd say 70% today for us to be able to get this victory. But is that it? Just as far as final thoughts for this game? But well, obviously we will talk about it again once we pick it, but nothing else.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, heck, I meant to also talk about Boo Carter. I think he'll be very important today.
Oh yeah, huge.
He'll be very important today. He's gonna ball. He bought it, man. Last week, I think the like you talk about the light turn on. I think it's at like 99%. Like he's pretty much becoming who we thought he was gonna be. Like he is a difference maker, and I think he's really gonna take that next step today.
Yeah. So there was a clip that I saw on Twitter where the offense was holding up. I don't know, maybe coming out of a timeout or something, and they're close to the sidelines, but Boo Carter's right there, and he stood there just so that he could grab Nico, and he grabs his arm and he daps him up. I don't know what he said to him, but you could just tell it's little things like that. That was in the fourth quarter.
He was in the offensive huddle. Like, what are you doing in the offensive huddle, Boo?
He's a baller, man.
Yeah,
he was trying to will his team to
trying to get Nico going. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Nico needs, that. You know what I'm saying? But it's cool to see that his teammate, his peer, notice that, and little things like that's going to go a very, very long way. So yeah, I think that Boo does step up, because seeing that type of stuff from a true freshman, dude, I think that this is a game that Boo might get a pick or make a really, really big play to maybe help get us going. Hopefully so. So
yeah,
that's big. Let's get on back into these picks. We'll try to pick up where we left off at. All right, boom. So the next game that we'll be talking about is going to be at 7 p.m. Okay, it's Arkansas versus LSU. The game is at Arkansas. LSU's favored by 2.5 points. The over-under is 49.5. I'm going to start off with you, Brady. Who you got?
I think this is an interesting game, and it really comes down to how available Taylor Green is. The Arkansas quarterback, got banged up versus Tennessee, so how he can really move. But I think LSU is right on half that win last week. I think they'll come out and win today versus Arkansas.
Okay. Pete?
Yeah, this is an interesting game. It's tough call. I'm just going to assume that Taylor Green's playing. I mean, we know Arkansas is a solid team, very solid. I mean, this go either way, in my opinion. It's in Arkansas. That place does get pretty rowdy, but I'm going to go and pick LSU to pull this one out in a pretty close one.
All right. Tim?
Well, I was thinking LSU the whole time, but now it's come to me. I'm going to take Arkansas, so why not?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like LSU has been been a tough team to call this year. Like we've seen many different versions. But I don't know, man. If Taylor Green can play, I think at Arkansas that will be enough to give LSU some problems.
Yeah. So this is the thing about Arkansas, because they look good, obviously, versus our Volunteers, but because we run such a different style, you can play a extremely different style of defense. So I think that helped them out. You know, maybe their defense looked a little bit better versus us than they would versus a more pro style sort of an offense. But the other thing about it is, I don't think LSU is I don't know that they run the football that well. And I really like Arkansas's linebackers. And then obviously Taylor Green, I like him over, what's the guy for LSU?
Nussmeier.
Nussmeier. Yeah, I mean, someone said that he's the second best quarterback in the SEC. I'm like, dude, I don't know where you got that from, but I disagree. Orally, like, I don't think he's even close to that. So I am going to take Arkansas because Brian Kelly, he's known to daggone blow it. So I'm going to take Arkansas, just like Timmy G. Next one, this is going to be at 12:45, so it's coming up here in about 30 minutes. And it's going to be South Carolina versus Arkansas. South Carolina versus Oklahoma. And the game is going to be at OU. South Carolina is favored by 1 point on the road. The over-under is 41.5. Bray, who you got?
This is a hard game. I think I like South Carolina. I mean, they played Alabama close, they played LSU close, and I feel like there's just too many issues with Oklahoma's offense right now. With the starting 5 receivers are out, they can't really throw the ball, can't really get nothing going. I think South Carolina comes out and wins this game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I can see this being a good game, especially with South Carolina coming off that emotional loss to Bama. You got to wonder, were the players able to flip that switch, or did it take them all the way to maybe Tuesday or Wednesday this week to really lock in on Oklahoma? Maybe they're a little unprepared coming into this game, but I think Oklahoma's offense is just too non-existent. I got South Carolina winning this one too.
Okay. Tim.
Same thing, man. South Carolina. I think I just think they're a more complete offensive team at this moment, and their defense is good enough to really pose some problems for Oklahoma. They've got 2 really twitchy guys on defense on that D line that are probably going to cause that young freshman some issues.
Yeah, I'm going South Carolina too. I mean, that 1 point, guys, that's almost like they're giving you money. You can take that all day long. I mean, South Carolina listen, Oklahoma can't score, right? I mean, that's a very easy one. Oklahoma, I don't know how many more games they're even going to win for the rest of the season. Will they win any more SEC games? I'm going to say probably not. I don't even know who else they're going to be playing. All right, we got a big one right here at 7:30, Georgia versus Texas. We all know that the game is in Austin. Texas was favored by 4.5. That line might have moved. You know, I do this on Friday nights. And then the over-under is going to be 56.5. Bray, I know that you got some stuff to talk about with this one, but who do you have?
Going into this for Georgia, last week, Mississippi State DBs, everyone, I don't know what they were doing. They were playing good. They weren't really playing with good eye discipline. That's very key today of Texas. They do a lot of motion, a lot of stuff to get you, a lot of eye candy type stuff. But all week, I'm not going to lie to you, I was winning Texas. But today, I woke up with a gut feeling. Give me them dogs, man. Go dogs.
All right, P.
Well, yeah, this is the maybe the matchup of the day, maybe outside of our game, but a lot of people probably think this game's number 1 game of the day. But this is an interesting matchup. I mean, I think Texas is the better team overall. They haven't been tested really this year. That's the only thing. They haven't really faced any real resistance. So how do they respond when a team can can match up with them across the board? How do they respond to that? What type of scheme does Sarkisian have for that offense? I think you'll have some stuff dialed up. And we'll be able to take advantage of a secondary for Georgia that hasn't looked great this season. But don't be surprised if Georgia does have success moving the ball on Texas. If Texas is playing that loosey-goose defense like to play where they're 9-10 yards off and just kind of giving you bend but don't break, it could be effective, but don't be surprised if Georgia has success moving the ball kind of up and down the field, especially if Carson Beck has a much better game than he's had the past few weeks. I can see this one being somewhat of a high-scoring game and being close, but I'm picking Texas to win big in this one. I got Texas winning by a lot.
Okay.
Longhorns.
All right, Phil.
Why do I feel like that's more of just a slight at Bray than a rational call?
No, it's not Bray. It's not
okay. All right. Yeah, man, I don't know. I think this is a tough game to call. Just like you guys have said. I mean, I think Texas looks like a complete package this year so far. Mm-hmm. But I mean, who have they played? this is to me is going to be their first big matchup this year. I don't think Michigan was near the matchup that everybody was making out to be. Obviously,
Yeah.
I think this is going to be interesting. But boy, I mean, I think the SEC was very generous to them when they gave them this game at home, right? If this game was in Athens, I'd take Georgia all day. I just don't know. I think it's going to be interesting. I'm leaning Texas on this, but for some reason I want to say Georgia, but I think I'm going to take Texas.
All right. So for me, man, I've watched Texas play so much. I've watched Georgia play so much, and just the truth is, Texas is a much better football team, especially where it counts at the most in the trenches. That's Georgia's real problem, is that they can't run the football, they can't stop the run and they can't even rush the daggone passer. The one thing that it seems like they're doing pretty good at is blocking for Carson Beck, but that's pretty much it. You know what I mean? They are kind of like a pass first team now. I think that people keep on talking about Texas' secondary. Why? Those guys are good. I mean, like I think that they're gonna play very well. I'm not too concerned about that by any means. If you need something, maybe just to kind of like gauge this, Georgia and Texas both played Mississippi State. Georgia beat them at home by 10. Texas, Bray, was that game at Texas or was that at Mississippi State?
Yeah, no, that game was at Texas.
Okay, so that game was also at home with their backup quarterback, and they won it, 35-13. So, I mean, you know, that's not always, it's not necessarily transitive, but I just think, man, Texas is going to absolutely – listen, I think that Texas honestly wins this game by – I'm gonna be conservative and say by 10 or more points. And that's me being conservative with what I've seen on film. I think that this game is going to get out of hand in a hurry, and Texas ain't going to be like Bama and let Georgia sneak back into it late. But those are my thoughts.
Hey, and you saw they didn't let Uga travel because last time he went to Austin, Big Bebo was about to rip him apart.
Bebo was coming after him.
Big ball.
All right, so right here at 7:45, we've got Kentucky versus Florida. The game's going to be in the Swamp. Kentucky's favored by 1.5 points. That's kind of surprising to me. Over under is 42.5. Bray, who you got with this one?
Yeah, I mean, Florida showed me a lot last week, versus Tennessee, and I think this is what DJ Lagway's, one of his first weeks to really get a full week of prepare, knowing he's going to be the guy. I think Florida's going to come out here and beat Kentucky today.
Okay.
No, I agree, man. But I think Florida's a better team. But I feel like there's a little weird thing with this little matchup here. I think UK tends to find a way to upset these guys pretty much every year, it seems like. And then similar to South Carolina Oklahoma game, I think Florida coming off an emotional overtime loss. How quick were they able to flip the switch and get ready for a Kentucky team that hasn't looked great this season? We'll see. I could see them maybe starting slow, but I got Florida. I got Florida pulling this one out in wherever they're at. Oh yeah, in the Swamp.
Yeah, in the Swamp. All right, Tim, what you got?
Well, traditionally Kentucky has had their number. That's just the way it's been the past several years. But and don't ask me why, because I can't tell you, because that's the way my brain works. Sometimes I just make decisions and I'm not 100% sure why I'm doing it, but I go with it. So I'm taking the Gators because it is at the Swamp. The only thing I wonder about, have the Florida fans given up yet? I feel like they're at the verge. If the Swamp is the Swamp today, I think they can win. I don't think Kentucky's good. Both these teams are 3-3. I mean, man, this is a toss-up. But I think DJ Lagway could really have a game today. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Florida too, just because really all Kentucky can do is run the football. Their passing game. I mean, they've been able to get people open just based off of like play action stuff, but I mean, really, their passing game just looks atrocious to me, and it seems like it's luck every single time. Florida's got a good run defense. They're going to be able to slow down Kentucky running that football, and Florida has an offense. I think that they'll be able to score on Kentucky's defense. I'm going to take Florida. 1.5? I know that there's one game. Well, I kind of want for everyone to just pick one game with the spread, but that's fine. I mean, you can just kind of keep that in your back pocket. But I am also going to be taking Florida to win this game. Now, let's get on to the one that everyone's been waiting for, the one that actually matters. 3:30 in Neyland. It's going to be rocking. The third Saturday in October. People wanted this to be a night game. I said, I don't care what time we play. We better be bringing it. We're going to be ready. Saban told us to start this thing off. Hey, look, everyone thinks that Alabama hates Auburn so much. We hate Tennessee more. Never had to try to get my guys up for that game. They always come ready to play. Our guys do the exact same thing. 2022. Really, nobody gave us a chance to win that, but I had a very quiet confidence heading into that game, and I think that my family did as well. Tennessee comes out, shocks the world. 22. What? Balls are up by, 20-something points going into half? Felt great. Come out second half, Bama brings it back. I think that this is a new rivalry now, right? Because it's been a wild piece since it's gone back and forth, but I think it's back to that. And I do feel really good about Tennessee. But I want to get y'all's thoughts. Bray, I want for you to go ahead and tell me, why is Tennessee going to win this game?
I think this is a big game, big time game. Obviously, two great teams. Pretty much we've been saying the whole show is how can Tennessee limit Alabama's big plays and how they can generate some big plays on their own. And you know what? Give me the balls today, man.
I love it. I love it, Bray. Beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, this is obviously a big game right now. I said last week I kind of learned my lesson about being too outlandish with those predictions and going too crazy. I think all the factors you talked about this defense for Alabama. They have the personnel to be able to stop what we do. And combine out what Saban said, they'll get up for this game. So what we've seen on film from them up to this point, even against Georgia, may not be the same Bama team we see against us. We're going to see the best version of these guys. No doubt about it. We'll see the best version of these guys. And I think this game being at 3:30, if you watch the Dante Thornton and Caleb Weblow's show, they're like, man, we're so tired of playing at night. And I thought the same as a player. As a player, when you're in the hotel and you're there all freaking day waiting on your game, like it's hard to get up for that game late at night. So I'm sure the players prefer to play this time of game. So I think we'll see Tennessee come out here with some fire, come out here ready to go. Like I said, I don't want to get too crazy here, but I got Tennessee and I got Tennessee winning this one big. I got us going out here and find a way to get this thing done. I think Nico finally breaks his streak of not throwing a touchdown like 2-3 weeks, whatever it's been. I think he throws for 2 or 3 in this one. I think Sampson does what he does, gets another 2. And I think we're going to get a couple turnovers on Milrow, maybe take one to the house. I got Tennessee having a complete game today in front of all his recruits, in front of all his fans. I got Tennessee win this one. We're going to put about 40 points. Let's call this one 42-17. I got Tennessee winning big.
Lord.
Let's go.
What happened to not going extreme? You just went from I'm not going extreme to I'm going all the way.
The blood just gets boiling, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey,
okay,
let's go. Let's go to war.
I like it. All right, Tim.
I love it. The okie doke. I ain't going to go big. Yay. Anyway, I love it, man. I absolutely love it. Love the energy. Hey, give me Tennessee. This is going to, man. This is such a wild game. It's so hard to predict because I think both these teams are super explosive. Like it could get ugly and get ugly fast either way here if one of the teams isn't ready to play today and the other team is on it. I just feel it's that way. But I think Neyland's going to have an effect today. I think Dylan Sampson is going to do what needs to be done. And hopefully Nico, they roll him out a little bit. They let him settle down, and this game goes in Tennessee's favor. So
score.
Oh hell, I hate this. Man, I don't know. I honestly think it could be a low scoring game, but let's say Tennessee 30. I don't know, man. 30-21.
Okay. Wow. All right. So I would have to agree with everything that everyone said. Obviously, I am confident because I do trust Tennessee's defense to limit Alabama's offense. Or you know what? I'll just say it this way. I trust Tennessee's defense more than I trust Alabama's defense. Just period, point blank. I know that our offense has kind of been stagnant, but we've seen where the strides are being taken at. We've seen things opening up, and I love the wrinkles. We're scheming people wide open. The offensive line actually looked better in pass protection. We can always run the football. So there is that. I think Tennessee's going to come out, run the football, kind of work off the RPOs, play action game, obviously still some 3-step drops. Can we go to 5 to 7-step drop and push the football all the way down the field? I think that we can in this game. So I feel like this offense is going to get back clicking. We have just been a taste away, especially coming out of last weekend's game. So it's a game of inches. Okay, if we can make up the inches that we missed last weekend versus a defense that's actually worse than what we saw last weekend, then yeah, I think Tennessee can put up some points. I could see this one maybe turning into more of a shootout because everyone thinks it's going to be lower scoring. But I'm very close to what Tim said. I'm at 35 for our Volunteers and 24 for Alabama. But I think, man, that this is a game that, honestly speaking, if Tennessee comes out and plays the way that we know that they're capable of, if this offense wakes up, Tennessee can win more like what P said, like 40-something to 17. But those are our thoughts. Thank y'all so much for joining us. Please make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share with your friends, family, and other volunteer fans. We will be seeing y'all later on tonight for the post-game show. Thank you. Enjoy y'all's day. We'll see you in just a minute. Peace.
GBO.
Well,